Hi, this is Dr. Ajay Kumar welcoming all of you to my channel. In the last week, we had discussed about urine problem. Today, I am going to share with you my experience in migraine. माइग्रेन जिसे सर दर्द के तौर पे आमतौर पे देखा जाता है. बेसिकली इट इज़ ए न्यूरोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम and the main manifestation of migraine is headache. The headache is not that it comes daily. It is usually it is very periodical, and whenever you go into a stress and some anxiety, this shoots up. Many times it's come on without any apparent reason. Many times because of the environmental factor like some psychological factor or weather changes, exposure to cold, it may get flared. Usually in migraine, there is headache, and with that, there may be some associated symptoms like dizziness, vertigo, and some gastric disturbances like you will feel nausea, vomiting, and in some cases, very rarely, you will feel some aura also in such cases of migraine. So far, there is no definite proof why the migraine comes up. So the reason behind the migraine is not very clear, but the psychological factor is one of the most important factor clinically established in such cases. Genetics, uh, in many cases, is also found an important reason for migraine. So this problem, what I have noticed, is usually found in women, particularly in the women who are married and after pregnancy or after delivery, they get this problem. So somewhere this problem has some connection with hormonal disturbances also. However, the most important factor which we have noticed in our cases is the stress. The stress, the psychological factor where the emotions are suppressed, one of becomes one of the major reason for the flaring of this problem. So how to tackle this problem is a very big issue, and in the conventional medicine, we have various anti-inflammatory medicine or some steroid group of medicine and analgesics, uh, sedatives are given for migraine, but they help to manage the pain, but the problem remains the same and usually comes up. So, how do we deal in homeopathy? Let's start uh, with some cases to understand how homeopathy can help in migraine. There was a case in which a lady had a very severe attack of migraine since 22 or 24 years, ever, ever since she had delivered the first baby. And thereafter, every month, she has experience of one or two attack of migraine. In this case, he had so much pain, and with that, there was associated symptom of vomiting and diarrhea that she had to get it admitted into hospital, and where she was given saline, and after 1 or 2 days, when the attack was over, the episode was over, she used to come back. And this sort of problem, this sort of episode has been coming since long, long ago. So this was very, very important to understand in this case why this had happened, what was the reason behind this migraine. So I found that there was some hormonal imbalance which had taken place after delivery, and that has triggered the attack of migraine, and that continued. So behind this, we understand from homeopathic point of view the fundamental reason, and there are three fundamental regions for which any sort of disease happen, as in the organ and honey manner discussed. The first is soda, second is psychosis, and third is syphilis. So in this case, I when I try to understand the nature of the lady, I found that the lady was a very loving, cheerful person, and she took care of her family members a lot. And there was and she used to come under stress whenever any person of that family uh, gets sick. So she she used to say that she has to care for everyone, and for this she has to become fit. If she doesn't remain fit, how can she would make the other to live happily, and how would she care for them? So this was the basic concern for that lady, that each and every member of the family must be taken care of very properly, and for that she has to be fit. So this was the standard of love and care for her family members, and this was sodic manifestation. On this basis, I had selected in that case vanilla, and vanilla was given to that lady, and thereafter the episode of migraine uh, quickly vanished, and just from the next month the lady never experienced the attack of migraine. And after a few months, when she had she complained of some headache, and that was not because of the periodicity or a certain anxiety state or a certain state, but it was because of her exposure to cold. And on that basis, the modality for which the under which the lady was there, Sepia was prescribed, and thereafter she didn't experience any heaviness in the head, and she got completely free from the issue of migraine. So in this case, we see that vanilla was very much indicative, and vanilla cured that lady, and that was supplemented by sepia. In another case, where a lady contacted me, and she was about 34 years old, and she had the problem of migraine. With that, she said that she has some trembling in her arms also, and this trembling was increased whenever she holds that arm. She cannot keep it straight because it trembles, and that trembling was not only experienceable by herself; it was visible to everybody. So when I went into the stress factor in this case, I found that the lady had the ambition to study, but she was married very earlier, and she could not asserted herself for a study. Her husband was cooperative, but he was not in the state that he could fought from the side of the wife, and the in-laws didn't allow her, or gave opportunity to her for further study. Whereas her sister-in-law in the same family, even after marriage, was allowed to study. So this perturbed her very much, and but she couldn't say anything about it to her family members, neither at her mother's house, nor did she share such things with anybody in the family except her husband. But the husband was not supportive to her against his family members. So she had to leave her study, and she got engrossed in her domestic affairs. But this had impacted her a lot, and for this she never forgave her husband, and there was something which got suppressed in her inner consciousness. So when I went deeper into the case, I found that the lady had this episode of migraine ever since birth, but that had triggered after marriage. So the intensity and frequency had increased after marriage, but she had been experiencing this since long, since birth. So she said that her mother had also the problem of migraine. So I analyzed the case in this way that she had inherited that migraine in genetics, and the emotional disturbances in the married life had triggered it or flared it up. So in this case, the lady was analyzed as that she was very mild nature and she was very suppressive type of character, and this sort of submissiveness, servility, and the suppression of ambition, all these had indicated for carcinosin, and in this case carcinosin was prescribed, and within 1 month the recurrence of migraine stopped, and the lady got free from the further attack of migraine. Almost 4 months have passed, and the lady never experienced any episode of migraine in this case. So there are several instances where I have treated for migraine, and I found that homeopathy is very successful in the cases of migraine. And if we are able to individualize that person, and we can understand what is the cause and how the disease has progressed, we are able to treat that case very successfully. So homeopathy has a lot of scope in the cases of migraine, and uh, um, what we need is to we have to understand each case very separately, and we have to prescribe on the basis what Honeyman has suggested for us. So, dear friends, wishing you all very happy Diwali, and hope that this lecture would be benefiting you, and I would be coming with uh, various aspects of homeopathy, and in various diseases how homeopathy is working, and we will elevate the level of homeopathy, and we'll make the society believe that homeopathy works. So thank you very much for watching it. Happy Diwali to all of you.